Hello, welcome back to the James Ramblin' Reviews for yet another episode. And in today's episode, I'm going to be discussing Guardians of the Galaxy Vol.3. I've been really excited for this movie, and you're going to find out if it lives up to the hype it's been getting recently. So, before we do all that kind of stuff, I was very into the Guardians original. Didn't really like the second movie, but I have rewatched the second movie a couple times now, and while it has its flaws, it is enjoyable because of those characters. Right, Guardians of the Galaxy has always been known for the characters. For me, the story can be so horrible, but as long as the characters are carrying that story out and then making it engaging and stuff like that, that is why I watch Guardians of the Galaxy. So with that out of the way, obviously, to just state the obvious, the MCU has kind of been on this downward spiral with Disney kind of making it all just feel like a corporized factory machine. Content crap, right? But I'll give you this, right? I'll tell you this, that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is probably the best MCU movie since Avengers Endgame. And I'll tell you why before we do this, right? The movie centers around the Guardians and set and pretty much ending their storyline, and you get a bit of the villain. You get to see what he has to offer. You get to see Rocket Raccoon's backstory. There's a bit of Adam Warlock in here. So all of these things are happening in the film. There's all this stuff happening. It goes on for about 2.5 hours. But what is so good about this movie is that you have those MCU movies that have humour and drama, but this movie finds a way to balance the humour and the drama. Like when it gets sad, when it gets absolutely sad, you feel the emotion, you feel the heart wrench, you feel your heartstrings being pulled here, you feel what's going on. That when you get to the jokes here, you get the Drax stuff, you get all the banter between this crew, you get all this stuff happening, it's not forced, the humour works. James Gunn is just a natural at this stuff here, so you get all that stuff. But I will say that Adam Warlock is a weak point because he is kind of in the movie, but he's not a giant deal in here. Like, I feel like the High Evolutionary is more vocal to this storyline than Adam Warlock. He's kind of just phoned in, or he's kind of just like, they just wrote it in at last minute. Okay, let's add Adam Warlock in here. Let's add him in. So that wasn't really the greatest, but Adam Warlock didn't really offend me too much. It just was a flaw that I recognised, and I was like, okay, he doesn't really fit into this plot here. But I really enjoyed the movie. And I didn't even think this movie dragged on whatsoever. Like, there's been some Marvel movies like Wakanda Forever that just felt like it was going on and on and on and on and on and on. But because I got so much time to spend with these characters that I just love these characters, I could care less if this movie was a 4-hour movie, right, at this point. As long as I get that relationship between those characters, I really like that. I also thought that the music was great. Okay, let's just say this, right? It's not as great as the first movie, but it does tie into the tone of the movie. It's one of the songs, like the sad music in here, there's a bit of Beastie Boys. Doesn't really offend me though, because it does work for the time period it's in. It's in the 90s. And so you get all that stuff. There's also some great action scenes as well. Like there's this one hallway sequence is epic, and it feels like a little callback to the original where there's guns. Like it's a 360 shot where they're all shooting and stuff like that. And there was a cool little callback to Yondu with one of the characters who sort of was really close to Yondu. So you get all that stuff. It manages to pull off a very, very satisfying story. That's great about it. It's a great movie overall. Where would I rank this in terms of the other Guardians movies? It's better than the second movie. It doesn't beat the first movie. But what it achieves to do here is amazing. It's the best thing since Endgame. I know Spider-Man No Way Home existed, but because we have had all these other Marvel movies preceding No Way Home, I feel as though that Guardians 3 is kind of better than No Way Home, in my opinion. Okay, there's the nostalgia, there's everything like that, but I feel like this movie does what it needs to do, and it's more recency bias, and I haven't watched No Way Home in a while to kind of contrast between the two. So I can't say to you if it was better than No Way Home, but I think that Guardians is better than No Way Home because of that recency bias, and I think, yeah, you should definitely go and watch this movie. It's good for the theatre experience. I am really glad that we got something great now. We got something great. As to if this is going to make the MCU the best thing of all time ever again, but I'm not sure about that. But I think it does what it needs to do, and so because of that, it's an 8 out of 10 movie. And yeah, man, I hope you enjoyed this review. Go if you have any opinions on Guardians 3, let me know. Did you think it was too long? What did you think about it? Did you think the jokes landed? Did you think the seriousness, the sadness resonated with you? There was a couple times where I did cry, but I'm not going to go on for too long. I might even try and watch this movie again, because man oh man, I've been missing this kind of Marvel that we used to get, and so this was a beautiful reminder of that indeed. So yeah, see you for another James Ramblin' Reviews episode. Bye, and remember, Guardians of the Galaxy Vol.3 is better than Phase 4, Antman, Quantumania, and the best thing since Endgame and Spider-Man No Way Home. Bye.